for startup and flowering stages, and also the last fruit filling stages. And B is the growth formula. As you can see, the nitrogen is high. Whenever your nitrogen, the first number is high, it is 2.5 to 3 times of the second number, then you know it is a growth formula. And when your nitrogen is 3 times less than the second number, then you know it is a startup formula. Because for rooting and tillering and branch formation, you don't need a lot of nitrogen. If we give a lot of nitrogen at that point, the plant will elongate the distance between the nodes and the plant will become a thin, flimsy plant. 2 weeks ago, I saw a picture, and to me, that was such a beautiful picture. It basically, and a farmer sent it to me, and he said, Yasir, I have been struggling to understand this picture, but somebody said if you can understand this picture, you will understand gardening, how to grow the best plants. And the picture basically was, it was a scientific graph which showed the struggle between calcium, potassium and boron on one side and nitrate and sulfate on the other side. So if nitrate and sulfate is able to enter the plant embryo at the time of germination, if nitrates and sulfates are able to enter first before the calcium and magnesium and potassium and boron, your plant is going to be a weak plant. Because now it has been trained to elongate and stretch from the beginning. The foundation is wrong. If your first brick is not straight, it is tilted, the next million bricks will be tilted. Right? And that is how it works. But on the other hand, if you are able to infuse calcium, magnesium, boron and potash in the plant embryo first, before high nitrates and high sulfates, your plant will be a solid, resistant plant. And that's all that picture said. So, it spoke a mouthful. So, Imperium A and B, this is for startup and later stages. In the end, if you want to take your garlic out and you are a month away, give a boost of Imperium A and mix it with Anchor. What is Anchor? Anchor is the liquefied form. Anchor is the liquefied form of carbon-60. Carbon-60. So, when we give Imperium A and Anchor, or Imperium B and Anchor, it is a balanced fertilizer. Because chemical fertilizers do not have carbon in them. Organic fertilizers are carbon-based. That is the difference. Organic fertilizers are carbon-based. Inorganic fertilizers are non-carbon-based. Yes, sir.
Would the Imperial A and Imperial B work in a greenhouse, spraying them for blooming, for finishing?
They are not for foliar.
Okay.
They are only for drip. Drip or drench. Drip or drench. Anchor is the carbon. However, because it's in a liquid form, we are able to put natural enzymes, which can also be termed as growth regulators, in it. But those growth regulators do not come from synthetic hormones. They come from seaweed and organic soybean. They come from two sources, seaweed and organic soy, by fermenting them. And we also have close to 0.75% micronutrients in anchor. So if you are giving anchor as a drench or a drip, you are going to fulfill your micronutrient gaps. And it is a great product to de-stress the plant under any stress, either insect stress or heat stress or drought stress or soil structure stress or salinity stress. That's why people who are equipped and they are planting potatoes. I always tell them, because in big commercial farms, potato planters have a drench right that goes on the tuber, and then they have two knives that go on the side of the tuber about 3 inches away. So if you are planting potato and you have the liquid kit that can put something on the tuber but not on the sides, then I would highly recommend, if there is a way to rig something up, rig it up and put your liquid starter on the side and put your carbon right on the tuber. If you want a disease-free potato, put 2 to 3 gallons of anchor right on the tuber before the dirt covers it. And put your liquid fertilizer on the side, and ground fertilizer will be all over the hill because you have mixed it already. Yes, sir.
Could you, if you don't have the liquid kit on your potato plant, could you spray the tubers with the anchor?
Very good question. If you don't have a liquid kit, absolutely. But the only thing is, in a spray, you will be limited to 1 to 2 liters of anchor per ton. Right? Because you'll have to add a little bit of water. Anchor is heavy. So how much can a potato take? So you can spray 1 to 2 liters on 1 ton of potato, which is typically the seed rate. 2,800 pounds to 2,200 pounds per acre. Compared to the 3 gallon that should go per acre. But it is better than doing nothing. It is way better than doing nothing. But a lot of people tell me about silver scurf, that they develop silver scurf. And if you really look into what causes silver scurf is caused by the lack of calcium during the filling stages. So wherever the cells are weak, cell has to fill with something. Just like nitrate or sulfate or calcium and magnesium, if the cell is there, but there is not enough calcium to fill the cell wall, what will come in? Water. So tubers that have excess moisture in them and not enough calcium are more likely to develop silver scurf later stages in the storage. But what does this product do? Like I said, this is a living magnet. It's a living magnet. It has both negative and positive charges in it. So when you apply anchor on the potatoes in the tuber, what happens? The calcium is sucked into it. It actually moves. People who use fall fertilizer, which has a lot of carbon in it, fall fertilizer, you must have seen, you see small volcanoes erupt. Has anybody noticed? A small ant hill, like small volcanoes erupt. And outside those ant hills, what do you see? Small chunks of pearlite-like material. You see small chunks of pearlite-like material. What are those pearlite-like materials? That is free calcium. That was tied up in the hard structure of the soil. And the fall fertilizer, the microbial life in the fall fertilizer, basically forced the bugs to isolate that calcium and turn it into small grits of free calcium. And that is the power of a living fertilizer. A chemical fertilizer can never do that. Then, so anchor is the carrier for A and B. Poseidon. Poseidon is basically rotten fish which has been stabilized into highly available protein source. Poseidon is not a complete fertilizer. Look at the number, 312. It's not a complete fertilizer. For organic growers, it can be a complete fertilizer for organic growers. However, for most of us here, it is not a complete fertilizer. Poseidon is an amendment. And I'll tell you one more thing. For garlic and onion, it is the most important product for garlic and onion. Because this product is known to give the flavor and the shelf life and the size. And Poseidon, I would suggest, whatever ground conditions you are in, if you are using A and B in your garden through the drip, let's say you have to do 6 fertigations in the whole season. 6 fertigations, not irrigations. Irrigations can be many. But if you have to do 6 or 8 fertigations in the season and you have used ground fertilizer, then my best advice would be between the two of them, combined or by themselves, use 2 to 2.5 liter per acre of this combination, or one of these products with 2.5 liters of anchor mixed in it. That becomes your irrigation or fertigation 1, and second will be 3 to 4 liters of Poseidon. Poseidon per acre, 3 to 4 liters. So if you do 2 liters of Imperium plus anchor, 2 liters of Imperium A and B plus a little anchor, and then you alternate it with Poseidon. So do 3 and 3 fertigations in small doses. Right? I mean, a pail of Imperium A and a pail of anchor can actually do 10 acres. The amount of organic matter that had to be accumulated over a full year or 2 years is now supplied in one shot. Right? And you trick the soil into performing optimally. And that is the beauty of this product. Similarly, if you want to infuse an unstoppable amount of microbial life in your soil, there is nothing better in the market than Poseidon. You have a hard pan, you have high mag, you want to move the soil, you want to make the soil soft. Because I have given this example before and I'll give it again. If you have biological waste from the kitchen or from your garden, let's say you have a cubic meter of waste, kitchen waste and garden clippings. You take a liter of Poseidon with a liter of water, put it on top, mix it up, make a heap, put a tarp on it, and watch it decompose. Has any one of you done it? Yeah? No? Jerry, you were saying something.
So which one would be the better one to put, like, for garden seeding? 1 to 3 or number 4? With the seed?
With the seed?
Yeah.
If
You
you...
said something about depends on the structure of the soil.
Yeah, so very good question. If you are in soils where you are fighting pH, and
Sodium.
high pH and high sodium and high mag, right? I would give Poseidon, because Poseidon has a pH of 3.2. Poseidon has a pH of 3.2. And the sign when Poseidon is done, formulation, because it cooks for a month in Vancouver and it cooks for up to 2 months here. Throughout the winter, do you know, throughout the winter, about 5 months, we had a tank brewing it in our yard, in our factory. 5-6 months, this product continued to boil. And, we add the microbial life to it, just to keep it alive. And it turns into a perfect brew which looks like chocolate milk. And you cannot get a more potent product than this to reduce the pH and to induce abnormal, insane amount of microbial life in your soil in the shortest amount of time. I've said this before, if you want to do a test, dig a 4-inch hole, put a 2-ounce cup of Poseidon and bury it, and come back after 4 days and you will find nothing but earthworms all around it and maybe a few maggots. If you have dead animals in your compost and they are not decomposing, take some urea and take Poseidon, spray it on your compost pile and turn it, spray again and then heap it, and ideally cover it because you want the temperature to rise. I have seen this product decompose the worst of the piles with chunks of wood, completely decomposed. So it does the same thing in the soil. It decomposes everything in the soil. So seaweed has the highest content of gibberellic acids known in any plant species. So when you apply those gibberellic acids, and they are the same structure that are also found in your plant, but they are in very small quantity. But when they are transferred from a seaweed into a cauliflower or a cabbage or a parsnip or a carrot or onions, they go into a hive because there's a perfect fit. Exactly what onion is trying to produce is now supplied through a natural source. And it is a most powerful, I would say, plant. Algae and seaweed. They are two of the most amazing plants that I consider. Right? Because one has the protein in it, algae, and one has the growth regulators in it that create the PGR effect. So, power kelp can be given either a little bit through the drip, but I'm talking more greenhouse because Anchor has power kelp in it, in a small dose, in a good enough dose. So, if you want to take your garden to the next level in terms of its quality, and another thing that a lot of people may have noticed, and please share your experiences, that's what we are here for, to learn from each other. When you spray power kelp, you will see the plant continues to flower for a longer time. Plant continues to flower for a longer time because power kelp has the natural plant growth regulators which are responsible for flowering and fruiting. So it puts the plant in a new height. Every time you spray power kelp or every time you put Anchor in the drip or power kelp on the foliage, plant actually releases a new set of roots. Roots. Cal High is for soils which are in high magnesium soils, where in your base saturation, calcium is a deficiency. So a typical sign of calcium deficiency is the de-shaping of the fruit or blossom and rot. When a cucumber becomes narrow and bends, that is a sign of extreme calcium deficiency. When a strawberry starts to look like an apple, that is a calcium deficiency. When it develops that monkey face, if strawberries are too small and they are not sizing up, that is a calcium deficiency. So, to bring the plant out of that extreme calcium deficiency, Cal High is the product. if you are in very sandy soils where not just calcium is a problem, but magnesium is also a problem, you use Calmac Pro, either in drip or in a foliar. But these are all supplements. They are not going to fix your soil, but they are going to take your plant out of that condition. So they are a short-term quick fix, because in gardening we cannot afford to have a bad episode, because the plants are growing at the speed of light every day. They are producing, right? So you need something fast-acting. Absorb, you probably all know, Absorb technically is cactus oil. I call it cactus oil. It's a mix of 4 to 5 different oils, which are all desert-based plants. All these plants are found in temperatures of 50 degrees Celsius plus. They fruit when the temperatures are beyond 50 degrees. And these are all plants which are known to have their roots 60-65 feet inside the ground. A tree might be 20 feet tall, but the roots are 65 feet deep. And they absorb rather than synthetic stickers which are made out of pure ethanol and glycerine or petroleum byproducts, which the plant has a very tough time absorbing and digesting. We have made a sticker with a natural product. And there are other benefits to it, because no amount of this product can actually be toxic. K43 is a mix of a very high food grade potassium carbonate and bicarbonate. That's all it is. It's a mix of very high grade potassium carbonate, bicarbonate in a form that solubilizes upon exposure to moisture. It has a very alkaline reaction, and just like our stomach needs to be alkaline, plants sap needs to be alkaline, which you can call the juices in the leaves and the stem. And if you can make your plant sap alkaline, the chances of insects and diseases to land on the plant are practically eliminated or minimized. So this is a natural supplement, and it is sprayed with power kelp, the two combined, and when the two are combined and used as a fog, the plant goes super alkaline, and the bricks in 48 hours goes 4 or 5 points up because of the high potash. And this is a potash that does not stay on the leaf, it actually penetrates, because it is a technical grade. So you make the plant very resilient within 48 hours. So don't wait for the mold to come, go and fog it once in a while, at least once a month, especially on your leafy crops, which are more prone to disease, or soft fruit, which is tomatoes and peppers.